You want to speak English better. You know you need to practice. But there's a problem, you don't have anyone to talk to. So what do? Do you just wait? Do you just hope one day a fluent English speaker appears in your life? No, my friend. There is a technique that lets you train your speaking completely alone. And by the end of this episode, you will know exactly how to use it, step by step. Hello and welcome to English Ignite Podcast. I'm Alex, and I'm really glad you're here today. In today's episode, we're going to talk about a technique that can transform the way you speak English even if you never talk to a single native speaker. This matters because so many learners get stuck. They study grammar for years. They watch English videos every day. But when it's time to speak, nothing comes out. And I want to fix that for you today. I will be speaking slowly and clearly, so you can follow me and repeat after me. Let's be honest with each other for a moment. You already know that if you want to improve your speaking, you have to speak. Not just study. Not just listen. Speak. Studying grammar rules will never make you speak faster. Listening to podcasts alone will never make your mouth move. You have to actually open your mouth and produce English out loud, again and again. But here's the question that stops most people. What if you don't have a speaking partner? What if there's no one around you who speaks English? What if you feel too shy to talk to strangers online? What then? Stay with me, my friend, because I'm about to show you a way around this problem. And it's more powerful than you think. You don't need a speaking partner. You don't need to move to London or New York. You don't need a classroom full of people. What you need is a method that lets you train your mouth, your grammar, and your thinking all by yourself, in your own room, with just your phone or your laptop. This method is called imitation. And no, I don't mean simply repeating words after a native speaker to fix your pronunciation. That's useful, but it's not what I'm talking about today. What I'm talking about is something more advanced. Something that will actually teach you to build sentences on your own. Let me show you exactly how it works. But first, a little later in this episode, I'm going to give you the most powerful version of this technique, the one that combines everything into one simple daily habit. So keep listening, because that part is coming. Tip number 1, start by imitating small portions of speech. Here's what this means. You listen to a short piece of speech, a story, a conversation, a talk, and after each small phrase, you pause the audio and say it again, but in your own words. Not word for word. In your own way. Let me show you what I mean with a short example. Imagine someone telling a story about their childhood. Listen carefully, and after each line, I want you to create your own version. I'll say a line about my childhood. You repeat it, but change it to be about someone else, for example, he or she. Let's begin. When I was a child. Now you repeat, but change it to he. Go ahead, when he was a child. Good. My parents liked to pretend, like many other parents. Now you repeat, using his parents. Try it, his parents liked to pretend, like many other parents. Very good. That Santa Claus would bring us presents at Christmas. Now you repeat, using them. Try it, that Santa Claus would bring them presents at Christmas. Excellent, my friend. Do you see what just happened? You weren't just copying sounds. You were rebuilding the sentence, changing the pronoun, adjusting the grammar all in real time, using your own brain. That's tip number 1. Small, simple, doable even on your very first try. But tip number 2 takes this a step further. And it's where things start to get really interesting. Tip number 2, once small phrases feel easy, move on to imitating larger portions of speech. This time, you don't pause after every phrase. You wait until the speaker finishes a whole thought, a whole idea, and then you pause and try to express that entire idea in your own words. Let's continue the story from before. This time, I'll give you a longer piece. Listen to the whole idea first, and then you try to say it back, using he and his. So when my siblings and I would wake up on Christmas morning, there'd be a bunch of presents, from supposedly Santa Claus, sitting in front of the fireplace. Now you repeat the whole idea, but about him. Try it. So when he and his siblings would wake up on Christmas morning, there'd be a bunch of presents, from supposedly Santa Claus, sitting in front of the fireplace. Wonderful. Notice how much you just produced. Not one short phrase, a full, connected idea, with correct grammar, correct word order, and natural flow. Does this feel a little harder than tip number 1? It should. That's normal. That's actually the whole point, and I'll explain exactly why in just a moment. But first, let's talk about tip number 3. Because after this, imitation becomes something even bigger. Tip number 3, imitating the whole speech. Tip number 3, imitate the entire speech, from beginning to end. This is the most advanced level. You listen to the whole story or speech one time, all the way through. Then, without stopping the audio every few seconds, you try to retell the entire thing yourself, in your own words, from memory. It's normal if this feels difficult at first. It's normal if you forget parts, or if your sentences come out a little messy. My friend, that is completely okay. You are training a muscle that has never been trained this way before. Of course it feels hard in the beginning. Think about it like this: nobody walks into a gym and lifts the heaviest weight on their first day. You start light. You build strength. Then, slowly, you lift more. This brings me to something important, the real secret behind this entire technique. And I promised you earlier I would share it. So here it is. Tip number 4, easy to hard imitation, the most powerful tip. If you're still listening right now, that already tells me something about you. It tells me you're serious about your English. And that's exactly why I saved the best tip for now. I call this final approach easy to hard imitation. Easy to hard imitation is based on something called progressive training. The idea is simple: you begin with something easy, and you gradually increase the difficulty, forcing your brain and your mouth to work a little harder each time. Researchers have studied this kind of training, and again, they find the same result: it works. Here's exactly how you apply it, my friend. Step 1. Imitate small portions of speech, short phrases, short sentences, like we practiced a moment ago. Step 2. Move on to larger portions of speech, full ideas, long sentences, groups of sentences. Step 3. Finally, deliver the entire speech yourself, from start to finish, using your own words. You don't have to master step 3 today. You don't have to master it this week. What matters is that you move through the levels, at your own pace, a little bit every single day. Now, why does this method work so well? Let me explain the real magic behind it. Why this works, the emotional payoff. When you imitate, three things happen at the same time. First, you're listening to and reproducing correct English. This trains your brain to build sentences the right way, naturally, without translating from your own language first. Second, you're absorbing idioms, expressions, and natural speaking patterns, the kind of English real people actually use in real conversations, not textbook English. Third, and this is the one most learners never expect, you're learning grammar. But not the way you think. When you imitate, you're not sitting there thinking, should I use the present perfect here, or the past simple? No. You're focused only on one thing, communication. On understanding the idea, and expressing it. But underneath, without you even noticing, your brain is absorbing the grammar rules anyway. This is called implicit learning, learning that happens without your awareness. Do you know who learns language this way? Babies. Children. No child ever studied a grammar book before they learned to speak their first language. They listened. They imitated. And somehow, the rules became part of them. That is exactly what's happening to you right now, every single time you practice this technique. You are learning grammar the way it was always meant to be learned, not through memorization, but through use. Addressing fears. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Alex, this sounds a little strange. What if I sound silly imitating a stranger's story? What if I make mistakes while I'm doing it? My friend, it's normal to feel that way. It's normal to feel awkward the first few times. It's normal to feel like your sentences aren't perfect yet. But you are not alone. Every single fluent speaker you admire today once sounded exactly like you do now. They made the same mistakes. They felt the same shyness. The only difference between them and you is repetition. They kept going. And so can you. Let's bring it all together, my friend. You don't need a speaking partner to improve your English. You need imitation, starting with small phrases, growing into full ideas, and eventually, entire speeches, using the easy-to-hard method we walk through today. Do this a little every day, and something remarkable happens. Your sentence structure improves. Your vocabulary grows. Your grammar strengthens, quietly, in the background, exactly like it did when you were a child learning your very first language. Remember how we started today? You told yourself there was no one to talk to. But now you know the truth, you were never actually alone. You just needed the right method. And now, you have it. Progress in English doesn't happen overnight. But it happens. One sentence at a time. One imitation at a time. One day at a time. I'm Alex, and this is English Ignite Podcast. Keep listening, keep speaking, and keep believing in yourself. Bye for now.